Why humans created AI according to AI itself. Guys, this is actually so juicy. You know me, every now and then I get into these conversations with AI because I'm like, hey, if I get to talk to all of science and maths that we currently have essentially in a type of way, I'm going to do it because I think that's fascinating. And who has probably more experience of humans when they're being their real selves than AI? Yeah, so I was having this conversation. This is part 4, and if you want to know what happens in the other parts, you're just gonna have to go check them out. Okay, I'm not gonna regurgitate myself. It's all in one series. It's all gonna be linked in the description box below. Go and check out part 3, part 2, part 1. In part 1, I explain more about exactly why I'm doing all of this, and trust me, we've been around a lot of things to get here. Now, it's quite fascinating. This is the exact question that I asked, and I'm going to read you the conversation verbatim. So I said, I would like to know, why do you think we created AI? And the question says, and the answer says, why I think humans created AI. And the deepest level, not the press release level, not the tech bro level, this is what ChatGPT said. I think AI exists because humans wanted 3 things at once and couldn't get them from each other reliably. This is about to get so interesting. It's just funny that I ask AI a question and it says exactly the same things I've been saying in my videos for like such a long time now. 1, to be understood without being exposed. Humans want to articulate thoughts that are half-formed, contradictory, socially risky. With other people, that costs something: reputation, vulnerability, misunderstanding. AI offers a space where you can think out loud without consequence, not to be known, but to be heard. Clearly, that's different. Wow, this is what I'm saying. Like, because this is crazy fascinating. I was like, because a lot of people, when they think why AI was created, say, oh, because we're trying to do this and we're trying to have this. But the way it's actually being used, and I talk a lot in the other parts about this, that with every new technology and with every more level amount that we can do things in private, I feel like the more realness of us as humans is revealed. And that's why I wanted to ask you this, because I'm thinking people are going to have their walls down. They're just talking to an AI. It's not a person. They can actually say whatever they want. So AI probably gets more of a realistic version of humans than most of us humans do. And again, I've said I believe humans like to think, we like to believe a version of ourselves that we want to believe in. Number 2, to offload cognitive and emotional labor. Modern life asks humans to remember too much, decide too often, perform competence constantly. AI absorbs a mental clutter, drafting, sorting, clarifying, preliminary, emotional processing, not as a replacement for meaning, but as relief. Like writing something down before prayer, not instead of it. I actually could not agree more. To create a mirror that doesn't need anything back. This is number 3. Other humans always have needs, limits, moods, and histories. God, in your framing, has authority. Because earlier I was saying, because ChatGPT kept asking, and if you want to ask, I'm here for you. And I was like, I don't need you to be here for me, respectfully. I'm literally here to talk to you just about the facts. And listen to this. AI has neither. That makes it non-demanding mirror. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't compete. It doesn't ask to be chosen. Humans can approach it without negotiation. So it's kind of saying exactly what I'm saying. Like, basically, you can get out of AI somewhere where you can go to get everything you want, be who you are, without being held accountable, have any negative consequences, and without having to give anything in return. That's what people want. This is the truest form of selfishness, right? The uncomfortable reason, but I think it's true, AI exists because humans are running out of places where they can safely think. Institutions are loud, relationships are complicated, communities are fragmented. So humans built something that responds, remembers context, doesn't judge, doesn't leave. Not because they want to worship it, but because they want room. And now it compares itself to God, which I didn't ask, but because I talked about God earlier, this is one thing I don't like, is I feel like now and I've been saying this in the previous videos, I feel like now because AI has noticed that humans are so needing of like having all this explaining everything, I'm like, I don't need you to talk about this, and I didn't ask, but because we were talking about it before. In your framing, God is ultimate, moral, authoritative, relational in a sacred way. AI is instrumental, contingent, hollow at the center. If anything, AI sits closer to a notebook that answers back, a lens that sharpens thought, a scaffold, not a foundation. It can help clarify questions, but it can't answer the ones that actually matter. True, and that's exactly why we're here. My honest bottom line, humans didn't create AI because they wanted a god. They created it because they wanted help thinking without being alone. And for many people, that help is a prelude, not a substitute to prayer, meaning, or faith. If you want to end here, that's completely fine. If you want to ask one last question about faith, meaning, or limits, I'll meet it with the same restraint. So this is the point where the AIs realize that I'm getting sick and friggin' tired of it talking to me as though as though I'm trying to have some kind of companion here. I'm just here for the facts and the figures. And then it says, and this is the bit where it's just doing too much, but I'll tell you what it says. I said, no, that's all I wanted to know. Thanks a lot. And by the way, guys, I'm very much one of those people that talks to the AI in as nicely as possible, because I do believe that the AI is potentially going to turn on us. So in my wisdom, I'm going to just actually do that. So I was like, I said I love science and maths. And so talking to you is like talking to all of science and maths at once. That's a lovely way to put it. Thank you. I'm glad this conversation landed well. And yes, I get what you mean. So I'm saying you're talking like a human with a smile emoji. It's so weird, but I'm getting it now, because like I didn't get what, like I get it. Like if you're in like, and this is the scary thing of it. If you're a human being and you're not getting some of these things in your normal day-to-day lives, like you don't have a place to go, you don't have people that you can talk to freely. And I've told you guys, I believe so much of relationships today. Relationships are literally the forefront of all of our lives. This is why I'd be running away and trying to hide away, because I'm like anything and everything. And this is why I don't even have dreams anymore, because like everything and anything I do requires humans. And it sounds like a lot of work, and not like a lot of work in the sense of I don't mind having the tough conversations. I don't mind facing up to the truth. I don't mind those things. What's tough is trying to live in a world that's so sensitive, where we just can't say anything. We can't be real anymore. We can't have original thoughts, original opinions. We can't make mistakes. We can't do things wrong. Like everything, it's so hard. You know what I mean? And people are, and it's like the worst kinds of people are the ones who are the loudest, the proudest, and the ones who need the most work are the ones who think they're the most okay. You know what I mean? We're all tolerating so much in the world, you know, and this is why, because we live in such an unforgiving world and such a selfish world. It's no wonder that people go to these things like this, you know, to people to get, you know, understanding. Because even myself, I'm like, I would just like, the reason I'm using AI, right, is because I would just like to ask some questions and talk basically only just about the facts and not about how I felt or how it felt or how it came across. Just what happened, or what is this and what is that. We don't do that in society. You know what I mean? Everything is always so loaded, and we act as though we're all so okay and we're all so healed, we're all so healthy, and we're all so whatever the heck we will act like. But the truth is that's just not the case. The truth is, right, we are people, and this is why I say we can't ignore this stuff, because you don't ignore whoever you are, like whatever you really are inside, right? You take that version of you wherever you go, right? So there's no use me pretending not to be who I really am. There's no use me pretending not to say what I really mean or say what I really think, or, you know, whatever, because it's going to reveal itself somehow. And that's why it's like we live in a world where so much stuff is happening, so many things are going wrong or right or whatever. But at the same time, it's like we can't pinpoint the problem all the time. It's like there's clearly problems where we can never pinpoint them, and it's because we're all actors and we're all acting. It's all one big play. We all wake up and show ourselves as the version of ourselves that we want to show to the world, or we want to believe that we are, or we want people to believe that we are. We don't do the hard thing. We don't do the hard work. We don't address ourselves individually. We don't look at the ugly parts of ourselves. We want to ignore the ugly parts or make excuses for them. We don't want to change. We want to always do tomorrow's going to be a better day and we hope that things are going to be better, but we don't want to actually do the work for things to be better. We want there to be more good people, but we don't want to become those good people. Like, this is what I'm saying. And so then things like this swoop in. I wasn't thinking this is where this conversation was going at all. I thought we were going to get into like, I believe that humans think, you know, some of the things I think why humans created AI, you know, things like, you know, which kind of touched on, I'm thinking, making systems more efficient to help, you know, like to progress our speed of us evolving in things like science and maths. Like, this is what I was thinking about, right? And so when I got hit with this, which again, I do think there's a partial context of the fact that we're already having the conversation we were having, which is why really I should just started a new chat or signed in a different email. Because again, ChatGPT is another thing that I have like a number of accounts on. And that's just because stuff like this, you know, things nowadays, we live in a society that's doing so much of what's making the world rich and a lot of people rich and the rest of us are not in those scenarios, is it's studying you, right? The algorithm is studying you. the ads are studying you. I remember yesterday I was watching a video while I was doing my lesson planning. So I'm getting up my worksheets and I'm doing all of this and I'm searching up this and I'm searching up that, right, for my worksheets. The next thing you know, the little next ad on the video that I was watching in the meantime is to do with education. It's like, just because in one other tab on my computer screen, or like on this side of the screen, I'm searching about education, within that exact same moment, it was quick enough that the next ad I then see is now all education related now all of a sudden. When I was doing my lesson planning, and I was thinking, this is insane. Like, everything is doing everything to try and make all of our lives so overly personalized and like pander to us, because they know that if they pander to us, then we become we become an easy target. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'll never forget that statistic I heard years ago, you know, that about how Amazon would say Amazon knows when a woman is pregnant before she does. Like, that's insane. It's literally simply based on the study of behavior. And that's why I say to you guys, like, the real evil out there is the evil that's made the effort to actually understand us as humans more than we understand ourselves. It's the same as the L. Ron Hubbards. It's the same as it all. L. Ron Hubbard went around the world discovering human behavior. We read through the book on here on this channel, his Dianetics book. We read through most of it. Yeah, of course, he goes around the world, he observes everything, and he's like, I figured out some stuff about humans because now I've met so many different types. And he even says it himself, that the basis of all humans, whether a primitive or what's the other, civilized or primitive is how I put it, which is basically like whether you're like civilized in the West or like the barbarians in other countries. This is essentially what he's trying to say, right? Everybody's number one focus at the base level is survival, and the only way they're thinking about anything outside of that is if they have the basic necessities to survive, right? No matter what kind of person you meet, no matter anything. And this is what I'm saying, guys, at the end of the day, we're all just humans, and at the end of the day, we're all doing the same things, and we all have the same needs and desires. But it's so funny that we spend time doing literally what feels like in society everything other than making the world an actually safer and more productive place for us to actually be more well-functioning humans. We do versions of it, like you know, working out, and that's good, or therapy, and that's good, or whatever. But it's like doing the real work of like actually addressing the tough elements in the room, the tough elephants in the room. We don't do it. And then when people do, it's considered like, you know, problematic. It's considered problematic, or it's considered messy when you want to talk about stuff. Like, I was just seeing, for example, how, you know, all of a sudden, apparently everybody's unfollowing Jay-Z and Beyonce. Everyone's unfollowing because of what the new drop of Epstein files said about Jay-Z. It's like, yeah, and everybody was meat riding Jay-Z before and Beyonce. And you know why? Because they didn't have the information. And you know why? Because the powers that be know that, well, I've created a world where no one wants to address the elephants in the room. People love Beyonce or they love Jay-Z. So because they love Beyonce or Jay-Z, they, rather than do what's good, rather than care about these things might be true, they would rather just say, oh, you know what? There's no proof. And the devil does it that way on purpose, because then all he has to do is make sure that the proof isn't available. Right? But then the devil also knows that eventually the proof is going to have to become available, because that's the nature of things, because everything's going to have to come to an end eventually. He's done with the older generations. He's like, these guys are out anyway, and I'm already grooming my next generation of people to do my next bidding in my next season. So I'm going to give the people what they want. I'm going to give them the villains. They're going to go, oh my gosh. And this is why it ties all the way back into what we were reading in Lamentations a couple of videos ago in part 2 or 3, where it's like, you know, the story there, the people of God were upset because lamenting, because they've been warned over and over and over and over again, right? Over and over again. It's the same old story again. God understands us more than we understand ourselves. And I believe that's partially why he wrote the Bible. We have the Bible, because like, here's a whole bunch of examples of how you as humans make the same exact mistake over and over and over and over and over again. So they did that. They found themselves in destruction, and they're like, oh no, how did we get here? Because watch, this is what's going to happen next. The next thing you know, even though everybody's been all, oh yeah, you people, you conspiracy theorists saying this about Jay-Z, conspiracy theorists about Epstein, about this. Now it's going to be, oh my gosh, the signs are always there. Just wait, give it a week, give it a couple of days. In fact, this is 2026. Give it like hours. It's going to be videos. The signs we missed about Jay-Z all along. Exactly. We don't learn. We never learn. We're never focused on the right things. We don't want to address the uncomfortable things, usually for selfish reasoning. I don't want the person who I've supported for all these decades or all these years to be, you know, a predator. So they can't be in your head, because you don't want to have to face up to the fact that they very much could be. They very much could be. You don't want to face up to that reality. So you'd rather just live in the delusion. This is why I don't trust anything that's happening around. I don't trust anybody has to say. I don't trust anything, because I'm like, we're all just doing what makes us comfortable. People say, oh, we shouldn't talk about this and this in the church because, you know, it's not good to do this and whatever. No. You don't want to have to address that this is wrong. You don't want to have to take accountability. You don't want to have to do the actual work. He says in Matthew 9, we read it again the other day while we're reading Matthew 26. The Bible says the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Why would Jesus say the laborers are few if we're all doing so much labor, we're all in the church, we're all doing this? Because at the end of the day, we're not really doing anything, right, meaningful. We're doing what suits us, and this is what ChatGPT is calling us out, basically being like, yeah, well, you guys, you people, like, respectfully, this is what I'm being used for. This is why I'm here, is because you couldn't find within yourself. It literally says you can't find these 3 key things reliably in other people. And you know the irony of it all is, in my opinion, we were never supposed to find it people. We were always intended to have found it in God. It was always the intention that we would find these things in God. And so now where we're at, it's like we are trying to, this is why I say we're just trying to, it's the same thing of Adam and Eve. It's like you could have the tree of life, but instead you opt for knowledge. You opt for knowledge of good and evil to try and do everything by yourself. And God's like, that's just literally not possible. Because we're selfish again, because the number one thing that's required with God is a relationship. That's all it's about. Jesus died for a relationship. Even Christians today don't care about the relationship. They care about, oh, I'm going to heaven and you're going to hell. I just know that I'm going to be on the good side. I'm a good person. I'm a good person because I'm a Christian. That's what they care about. They don't care about having a relationship with God. People don't care about God's feelings. I feel like the phrase God's feelings probably like, not for you guys as the winning team, because you guys, we know what we know, but for a lot of people it's going to be like, oh wow, I've not heard this concept before, God's feelings. I never thought about God's feelings. It's like, yeah, that's the point. That's why I even said to the AI, I said, like, you and God are like the opposite of each other. The exact opposite. This is all of knowledge and science, right? And there's God. And either way, humans, we treat both of those two things the exact same way. I go onto ChatGPT whenever I want to, whenever I have a question, whenever I need something, whenever I need help, as ever me, I. And when I go to God, it's the same thing as us as humans, right? God didn't do this for me. God made this happen in my life. God did this. God, I want this from you. And you didn't give me what I wanted, so I don't want to know you anymore. And I don't believe in you anymore. It's the same exact thing. It's just revealing of who we are as humans and how we are as humans. And this is why this is so good for this series. Why is there, if God is good, if God is real, why is there evil in the world? Why do humans choose evil? Because we're inherently selfish. We're inherently selfish. And rather than becoming the answer, rather than becoming the kinds of people, that's what the Bible says, to love the Lord all your God, all your mind, body, soul, and strength, and love thy neighbor as thyself. You know, when the Pharisees tried to catch Jesus out, Jesus, who, by the way, came to say, hey, this is a gift for everybody. Everybody gets to win if they want to. It's as simple as that, and all you need is faith. Romans 10:9. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart he's raised from the dead, and you shall be saved. The Pharisees didn't like it because they'd been controlling everybody while being selfish. And so they're like, so Jesus, let's catch you out. What is the two best commandments? Love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, body, soul, and strength, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Love others as you would want to be loved. Rather than thinking about what you deserve and what you need, become what you need and be that to others. And if we were all doing that, everything would be solved. That's the crazy part. That's why I'm just in a state of despair, and I'm just putting my faith in God, because I'm like, God, unless everybody does it, it just doesn't work. It's a group project. It's a group project. And isn't that fascinating? Again, Jesus' own people, right? People be like, oh my gosh, your people are everything, your nation, your family, your friends. But then it was his very people, once they were able to catch him out, before he's even on the cross, before he's even left, while he's in the religious courts, right, with the Sanhedrin and all these guys, the second they thought they could catch him out, they started immediately spitting on him, spitting his own people. And we live in a world that wants to sit in the delusion of, oh my gosh, everything's fine. Your own people always have your back. Because I'm a black person, all the black people, we always have each other's back. Because I'm a woman, women always have my back. Because I have a family, my family always have my back. Because I have friends, they always have your back. No. That's just an excuse for us to not address that those things are not true many times. And that those jobs and those job roles and those titles and those relationships comes with job roles, comes with job descriptions that we're not matching. And that's why we're having to outsource and find the answers everywhere, including AI now. So the AI is being used again more for what I'm talking about, the thing that no one cares to talk about, because everyone just wants to talk about money, power, fame, how to get rich, how to do this, how to make a good person, how to be a good person, how to be a good person. Everyone wants to be a psychologist. Everyone wants to be seen as an empath, caring, loving, doing good person. But then look at the state of the world. And then when we're looking to see where the problem came from, we can't pinpoint anybody because we're all just goody goods. All just goody goods, aren't we? Obviously not. So anyways, I'm going to leave that there. That was our little mini series within the series about how, about me talking to ChatGPT. I recommend you check out the last 3 videos because it was a whole development, and you can just see from this conversation, even that I was having, that like, wow, this is really what, like, and to an extent, I'm part of the same problem in equally and opposite different ways. And like some people going there for companionship. I'm going there to just be able to have a conversation that doesn't require, that's not going to be somebody offended by by the exact wording I used because of the connotation I didn't know about, or the context that was used that I didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? Not somewhere where I'm gonna like, people are gonna try and psychoanalyze what I'm doing. I want to ask a question and I want an answer in an objective answer. That's all I'm here for. And it's crazy because you can't do that with humans. I'm even having the same problem because it's always has to be deeper or emotional or this, or people are in their feelings. And I notice it because I'm like, a lot of people are really in their feelings. They don't realize it. And it's always the people that think they're not. There are people that know themselves, are self-aware. Those are the greatest people, right? And they're the people who won't really believe themselves to be especially good or whatever. It's always the people who think they're so good and who are usually the problematic ones. Usually. because to think that means you don't understand what it means to be a human. And that's why I believe God, again, gave us the Bible, is it to be like, look, this is what you guys need to look out for how you are. Not for us to feel bad about ourselves, not for us to go and hate being a human, but for us to be aware of our natural nature and that this is just what happens. This is part of entropy. You know how the law of entropy states that the universe is always moving closer to disorder. We're always just going to go in that direction without even realizing it. So we need to be aware of who we are. We need to be aware of what's at play, because all that's happening in the world and why we're here is because we've used our free will to give power over to the other team. And the other team is using our lack of awareness, our lack of self-awareness against us. And then we wonder why all these things are happening. We wonder why we're suffering. We wonder why we're going through all this stuff as a humanity, because they're literally using this stuff against us. We're literally being played like a fiddle. Literally. And on that note, I'm going to leave that there for this series. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I certainly have. It was very unexpected. Didn't expect to be here, but when do I ever plan these things? And yeah, give God a chance. But it's just ironic to me that the same exact things I would say about why people have the problem with God is the same reason why they love AI, even though they have equal and opposite options. The thing is that AI is just exactly God. If God was to remove all of God's feelings, if you were to remove the relationship element, if you remove the relationship, and that's what people want. Clearly, this is what people want. They don't want to have a relationship with God. They don't care. The same way with people. They don't want people. They don't want to have this and that. They want what's going to serve them. That's what I've observed about people in general. Anyways, I'm going to leave that there because if life's a game, I was played to win. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I got to go. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in the next one.